The engine coughed, spitting out exhaust as if mirroring my own internal turmoil. "All right, Mark, this is it," I muttered, more to convince myself than the dashboard Jesus. My reflection in the rearview was a mask of forced confidence plastered over a bedrock of crippling self-doubt. Operation Get a Girlfriend was a go, and failure wasn't an option. Not really. Because the alternative? Another lonely Friday night with only pixels for company. The question wasn't just whether I could do this, but whether I had the balls to even try. The weight of that hung heavier than my student loan debt. Yeah, okay, deep breaths. Because the alternative is dying alone, surrounded by anime body pillows and the crushing weight of unfulfilled potential. Not exactly a cheerful thought to kick things off, I know. But let's be real, that was the future I was staring down. 21 years old, still a kissless, hugless virgin. My dating app profile? A wasteland. Even the bots swiped left. I was basically the relationship equivalent of a participation trophy, technically present, but utterly useless. Something had to change. I genuinely believed back then that a girlfriend was the key to unlocking my life. That all the awkwardness, insecurity, and general malaise would vanish the moment I found the one. If only I knew then that the cure would be worse than the disease. That the path to self-discovery would involve more heartbreak, financial drain, and existential dread than I ever thought possible. Ah, the blissful ignorance of youth. I was so ready to jump headfirst into the deep end, completely oblivious to the sharks lurking beneath the surface. So, the transformation began. A desperate attempt to morph into someone dateable, someone worthy. First, the haircut, a generic, modern fade, that made me look vaguely like every other dude on campus. Then, the shaving ritual, meticulously scraping away any trace of my pubescent awkwardness. And finally, the cologne. Not the real Aqua di Gio, mind you, but the gas station knockoff that promised the same irresistible allure for a fraction of the price. I splashed it on with reckless abandon, hoping to mask the scent of desperation clinging to my skin. The drive to campus was a white-knuckle affair. Drive. Stop. Drive. Stop. Just go home, Mark. No. Shut up, brain. Just do it. Each red light felt like a personal attack, a cosmic sign telling me to turn back. My palms were slick with sweat, the steering wheel a slippery testament to my mounting panic. Rationalizations battled with fleeting thoughts of escape. Maybe I could just say I tried. Maybe I could fake a sudden illness. Anything to avoid the inevitable humiliation. Emerging from the car felt like stepping onto an alien planet. My fight or flight response was set to nuclear. For the next hour, I was basically an NPC in my own life. Wandering the campus, avoiding eye contact like it was the plague. Every time I got close to a girl, I panicked and changed direction, feigning sudden interest in architectural details or the intricate patterns of the brickwork. I probably looked like I was casing the joint for a robbery, not trying to score a date. Finally, I spotted her. A girl sitting on a bench, engrossed in a book. Overweight, maybe, but she looked chill. Less intimidating. My internal monologue went into overdrive. Asterisk, she probably gets rejected less often. Maybe she'll be nicer. Asterisk, I started walking toward her, cold sweats breaking out on my forehead. We made eye contact. Almost bailed. Forced myself to keep going. This was it. My first real attempt. Hey! I blurted out, the word a strangled whisper. I thought you were cute. Can I have your number? She took out one earbud, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. Panic intensified. I repeated myself, but it came out even worse. I thought your cute number maybe? She looked genuinely bewildered. I have a boyfriend, she said, with a polite but firm smile. It felt like I'd just been punched in the gut, but also my soul. Walking back to my car, totally deflated, I saw a cute girl unlocking her bike. If I get rejected, at least I'm close to my car, my brain helpfully supplied. So I approached her. Same awkward delivery, same rejection. But this one didn't hurt as much. Something shifted. It really didn't hurt as bad, and then I figured, fuck it, I'm already here. I was still standing after taking a punch. I decided to push it. I headed back into campus, a man on a mission. Or, more accurately, a slightly less terrified man on a mission. Over the next 90 minutes, I probably asked out around 20 girls. Rejected by all, of course. Most had boyfriends. 2 of them were kind of rude. 1 girl just laughed in my face. Others were surprisingly polite, some even smiled. It sucked, yeah, but I did it. And weirdly, I was proud of myself. Back home, I replayed every rejection in my head. Each cringe-worthy moment, each stammered word. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. What the hell was I even doing out there? I felt like I was speaking a different language. Like I'd just asked them if they knew the Muffin Man. Desperate, I opened up the original YouTube video again and actually read the comments this time. That's when it hit me. I was trying to run before I could crawl. More like a toddler flailing around in a diaper. The comments were full of advice. Asterisk small talk first. Build some rapport. Don't be creepy. Asterisk I felt like a literal alien. Like small talk was some secret handshake I never learned. So, I decided to learn the secret. The next day, I went back to campus. It was like going back to a war zone. PTSD was kicking in. This time, armed with my scripted small talk, I tried again. Hey, I like your jacket. What class are you in? Do you enjoy it? Some conversations went okay, others went totally off script, and I collapsed like a Jenga tower. But each failed combo hurt a little less. Then, finally, one said yes. Sarah. Nerdy, shy like me. A 6 out of 10, maybe. A girl I probably would have scrolled past on a dating app without a second glance. She wasn't exactly a supermodel, but at that point, I would have taken a trained chimpanzee. We swapped instas. I felt a surge of something. Was this hope? We messaged each other, talked about shows, music, all that typical getting to know you stuff. I asked her out for food. She said yes. Finally, we met up on campus, and it was awkward as hell. The conversation didn't flow. I tried to keep it alive with random questions, but it felt forced. I realized pretty quickly that we didn't actually click that well. Still, I asked her for a second date. I mean, I'd come this far, right? She said no. Expected it, but it still hit me, a dull thud of disappointment. I went radio silent for 3 months. Too embarrassed to try again. But this rejection was different. It wasn't the soul-crushing kind, just a quiet number. A sense of acceptance, maybe? I went radio silent for 3 months. Too embarrassed to continue this whole charade. Sarah and I didn't talk at all. It was more of a quiet disappointment than soul-crushing pain, a subtle feeling of maybe I wasn't built for that life, not for the moment. Maybe I had to learn to live alone, and that wouldn't be so bad. But something deep down told me not to stop trying. Eventually, I started approaching again. But not on campus. Too much bad juju there. I ventured into the real world, coffee shops, bookstores, libraries. My success rate improved slightly, maybe around 5%. I got a few more instas, a few more first dates. I felt as good as when I hit Diamond on League for the first time. But still, none of them went anywhere. The thing is, I wasn't invisible anymore. I was forcing women into awkward small talk, making them uncomfortable with my clumsy attempts at flirtation. And that, in a twisted way, felt like progress. Used to feel like I wasn't even allowed to try. Now I'm in the arena. Still awkward, still insecure, but finally showing up. That Diamond on League feeling started to fade, though. I was starting to recognize patterns. Women who seemed genuinely interested on the first date would ghost me after a few days. Or they'd keep me around as an orbit. Observation number 1 was the Diamond on League feeling fading. I started seeing patterns, the nice guy facade. It was the women who seemed genuinely interested on the first date would disappear from my life after a few days. They would ghost me in a way I never thought was possible. Or even worse, they'd keep me around, but only as some kind of emotional support. I noticed observation number 2 was this. Boyfriend. Excuse, I started asking myself if these women actually had boyfriends, or was it just a way for them to get rid of me? It was like a damn script, and someone sent it out on a memo and gave them all the same excuse. Then there was the entitlement attitude. It seemed like more and more, these women expected me to pay for everything, to shower them with gifts and cater to their every whim. And for what? A few hours of lukewarm conversation and a fleeting sense of validation? It was like I was applying for a damn job, but the job was a goddamn sugar daddy. Then, there were observation number 3. I saw a lot of mixed signals. These women would say they wanted a nice guy, but it seemed like they were much more attracted to bad boy types. I started to see a disconnect between what the women said they wanted and what they would actually respond to. Observation number 5, and I was finally starting to figure out that innocent friend, it was like there was a friend, and everyone always said, "Don't worry, he's just a friend." But it would always end up that he was not just a friend. It was like some kind of elaborate and long game that everyone was playing, and I was the only one who wasn't in on it.